can you create an epic that will span across multiple projects? Well, the answer is definitely yes, you can do that, but it won't really work when you're using next gen projects. Now, let us see how it works. And by the way, I'm making this video in response to this question asked on the community. I want to create epics that multiple projects can assign issues to. And Kyle is asking about, we have three teams, backend, frontend, and mobile, that share many of the same epic objectives. I do not want to create three different epics, one project, because that doesn't make sense for organization purposes. How can I allow an epic to span multiple projects? Well, you can do that in Jira. When you create, let us say, a new project, you can just create a project that will contain only epics. So let us say you create a project of type software, for example, and maybe you want to create not really a Kanban. I think Kanban can work. Let us see. Let us see if this works. Maybe we can create a project epics only, and let us create this, because when you want to do this in a normal classic Jira software project, you can do that. But let us see how it works. Let us do it very quickly together, and I will also try to do the same thing for my next gen projects. So when you create this new project called epics, so this is, let us say, your epic number one. We should probably name it something a bit more meaningful. iOS app. This is one of my epic, and I always use this example. So let us create two epics. One is iOS and the other one is Android. So Android app. So by the way, if you want, you can leave your epics in this dedicated project, and you can just manage a Kanban board. Usually when you're maybe working in some top to down approach where you want things to be organized first at the management level, let us say you're trying to implement SAFe, just one example. Maybe you want to have a separate project to keep track of these high level initiatives or features or maybe epics. So you have this dedicated project, and maybe at this stage you want to further break the work. Now what you want to do, you may want to create a separate project where you will only pick the epics that are selected for development. So let us see how it works. So I'll leave this project as it is, and I will create a board. And let me first take a look at my project, my list of projects. I'm basically looking for a project that I can use for iOS development and other one for Android. So I do have one project, I believe, called iOS. Let us use this one. Do we have one more Android, something like Android? No. So we don't really have anything like Android. Let me create two fresh projects for you very quickly. And for those two projects, I'll be using, of course, Scrum, because I want my individual teams to follow their standard Scrum based. Or maybe let us just create, we don't have to create the board at this stage, but let us use the Scrum template. So we have all the required issue types like story, for example. So I'll create my project number one, which is iOS, and I'll create one more project. And by the way, I need to clean up this cloud instance. I do have a lot of unnecessary projects that I keep on creating. So I have this project here, and let us create one more. So basically what I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to show you how it works, both for normal projects and next gen projects. The second one is Android, and we'll leave it as Scrum. So now we have one project for epics and two projects for further breaking up those epics into maybe Android or iOS based activities. Now to manage the work, and by the way, there is nothing inside. So to manage the work, I will create a board. So let us go to the boards and create a fresh board. Even before we create a board, I think it is always a good idea to search for the issues. Like let us prepare the query that is applicable, that should be applicable. So I'll go to the issues, and what I will do, I will try to write something like, okay, so we want project in, and we want to name it we want to include Android, we want to include iOS, and we also want to include the project that we created to store the epics. But at the same time, and I think, or so how do we? I think we can probably use a sub filter later on, but for the timing, I think this is good. And not and, but order by rank. In case we are, let us say, in case we are using the backlog where we want everything to be ordered by rank, which is, I think, a good idea. So let us create this filter, mobile development. And by the way, this is just a quick example, but the idea here is to demonstrate how it works. So we have a query. Now what we'll do, we'll create a board, and I'll go to the boards, and I will create a new board, a fresh board. So let us create a Scrum board, and let us create a board from an existing saved filter, which is, so mobile. Let me first create the board name, mobile development board. And by the way, boards are different from your project. So your board can have multiple projects. And location, so I think we want to maybe keep it at the Epic project level. It is up to you. You can always access the board directly, but if you want this board to live inside your Epic project, you can. So now we have a board, and in the board configuration, we'll probably do few changes. Like we only want to focus on. Let us go to the project to the board settings. Let us go to the general. Now it is using rank, and it is using these three different projects that we can see very clearly. And if you want, you can modify the filter query. So let us go back. So this is good. The filter query is perfect and fine. Now to start the work, what I can do, I can now start creating. I can start creating stories in this board, and I will link it to the epics that are actually in a different project, which is Epic. What I was thinking of doing is, I think this is fine. Let us take a look. Let us take a look at this board and see how it works in real life. So I'll go to the board, and if you want, you can get rid of the sidebar to give you more space, like this. Oh, I need to click on the back to board. Come on. So if you want to take a look at the epics, you can take a look at the epics that you can see very clearly here. Now, when you create a new issue, you have the option to create this issue. And by the way, don't include stories in your Epic project. Let us say you want to create an issue in Android. So this is your Android issue, which is of course in Android project. Let us create two issues. Android issue 2. One more. Let us create one more in iOS project. iOS issue 1, and maybe one more. Issue 2. So I think this looks good. So now in this particular situation, we have in this particular, as per the configurations, we have issues lying in two different projects, but you can link it to the issues or to the epic that is actually stored in another project. And of course, you are not. I mean, if you now look at these epics, I mean, of course, the epic names are probably not. I mean, this is just to show you how. I mean, this is just an example, but you can have one epic that can store issues from n number of projects. So let us say if you're talking about, let us rename this epic to something else. I think that will make sense. Let us say you're working on some platform APIs, which is common for both Android and iOS. If you want to use something like, when you're working on cloud, it is slightly slow as compared to, it is not always the fastest, and I'm of course using the free version, so I can't really complain. So let us say you have you have an epic that is affecting both the projects, and you're working on, let us say, some API work. So this epic should contain issues from both the Android and iOS projects. So what you can do, you can then map it to you can actually assign it to your epic, and I'll do that as soon as I can see this page. So we have this situation now where we have, I need to refresh, I guess. Oh yeah, it says, I think I forgot to change the name of the epic name. So anyways, you get the idea. Or maybe I can do it. Let us make it perfect. So I'll go back to my platform API and I will change the epic name to platform API. If I can do it quickly, I need to wait for the page to load completely. So yep, platform API. So this is my epic. I'll go back to my board. I'll refresh it. And now we have this board with platform API. Let us say this platform API is going to affect the Android issue and iOS issue. So you can basically assign issues to this particular epic that can span more than one project. And if you look at the actual epic itself, you can see here we have a panel that is showing you the epic and the issues in this epic, which is of course coming from different projects. So this is how it will work for a normal project. Now if you take a look at your next gen project, so let us go back to the view all project and let us find one next gen project, which I believe is it is always a bit difficult to figure out. I think in one of the video we deleted all the next gen projects, which is not good. So I need to create a new project. So let us create a new project. Try a next gen project. So I'll create it. So in this project, I will create, let us say, next gen epics, and I will create this project. Now what I wanted to basically I think I covered this in one of the video. I made few videos on next gen projects. Now if you click on and by the way, I just want to see how it looks like. I want to see the roadmap first. So if you take a look at the roadmap, I think in this particular issue, in this particular next gen project, we have the option to create an epic and a task. I think this should be enough. So let us create an epic. Now this is, let us say, epic 1 and epic 2. Now if you go inside this epic, you can see here that you can further break it up into different issues. Like if you want, you can create maybe, let us say, a task and maybe one more task, but this will stay within this particular issue. I mean, you can't really have this task which is in a different project. Let us open the next gen epic separately. Now you can see here that we have something like child issues, and on top, when you click on the button called add a child issue, it will basically create a child within the same project. It is somewhat like your subtask. Now if you go to a specific task, again you have the option to create a further child of this particular task, but in this case it is definitely a subtask. Now if you go back to the epic one, and if you're thinking, can you link it to maybe a different task in a different project? Not really. That is not really possible here. What we can also try to do is, what if we go back to the board and we also include this project called next gen project. So if I maybe go to my filter, I'll just modify the filter, and I'm just of course experimenting just to show you how it can work. So let us find the filter that we added earlier, mobile development. So basically what I want to do is I want to see if I can bring in my fourth project, which is next gen epic. So if I search, so we now have epics coming from next gen project. If I save it, let us see how it works. Let us see if we can do something interesting. So if I go back to the board, and if I take a look at my mobile development board, so we should have one more epic idly, because it was visible in the filter in the search result. So if you now look at this board here, on the left hand side you can see that yes, it will show you the epics, but let us see if we can assign any issue to it. So when you do that, you get an error. You basically get this error that says issue ng1 must be of type epic. So so the moral of the story is that it will not work with next gen projects. You need to use classic Jira software projects. And that is all I wanted to share in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.